All right, in his explosive new book called Catch and Kill, Ronan Farrow details allegations of sexual assault in the media industry and his former boss's alleged attempts to stifle his reporting. The book describes sexual assault allegations against disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein and former NBC news anchor Matt Lauer. Both men have denied any wrongdoing. In a moment, we'll talk with Farrow about his book. His Pulitzer Prize-winning reporting helped launch the Me Too movement, which inspired women to come forward. The movement also revealed allegations against many powerful men, including Charlie Rose and Les Moonves here at CBS. In Catch and Kill, Ronan Farrow says he had reporting in August 2017 about Harvey Weinstein's alleged sexual misconduct, including anonymous corroborating witnesses, a silhouetted accuser on camera, and even secretly recorded audio with Weinstein accuser Ambra Gutierrez.
Why yesterday you touched my breast?
Oh, please, I'm sorry. Just come on. I'm used to that. Come on.
But Farrow claims NBC said it wasn't enough. He says NBC News president Noah Oppenheim eventually suggested Farrow take the story elsewhere, writing, quote, "Any further reporting you're doing is not on behalf of or with the blessing of NBC." Farrow published his investigation nearly 2 months later in The New Yorker.
Matt, right here, please, sir.
Catch and Kill also names one of Matt Lauer's accusers for the first time. Former NBC employee Brooke Nevels says Lauer raped her in his hotel room at the 2014 Sochi Olympics. That accusation led to Lauer's dismissal from NBC for sexual misconduct in November 2017. Lauer staunchly denies an assault took place, saying the encounter was consensual. Last night, Lauer's attorney fought back, writing, "Farrow continues his attempt to monetize the Me Too movement, using salacious allegations as promotional trinkets to sell his book." And NBC's Noah Oppenheim also released a new rebuttal, writing, "Matt Lauer's actions were abhorrent. Ronan Farrow's book takes that undeniable fact and twists it into a lie, alleging we were a company with a lot of secrets. We have no secrets and nothing to hide." NBC also calls Farrow's claim about their quashing the Weinstein story a conspiracy theory. And Ronan Farrow joins us now. Welcome, Ronan.
Good to be here.
In this statement from NBC, which I should say is 6 pages long.
Very detailed.
Yeah, NBC News President Noah Oppenheim says your book is, quote, built on a series of distortions, confused timelines, and outright inaccuracies.
Look, this book is an extraordinarily meticulously fact-checked work of investigative journalism. It's 2 years of reporting. One of the senior fact-checkers at The New Yorker checked it. I'll let the reporting in the book stand on its own. We're very confident in it, and it's been amazing to see how the press has rallied around it. I think people have seen it for what it is.
What have you heard from people inside NBC?
There has been an outpouring of support from journalists at this company and sources coming forward saying they too have stories. That's very common. All of this is honestly very common with these kinds of investigative stories. When I reported those stories about CBS that you just mentioned, similar campaign to undercut the reporting that revved up and similar support that ultimately carried the day.
Well, there was always two sides to every story. I'm really curious because Matt Lauer came out really with guns blazing, responding to you. It made it very clear from his point of view that it was certainly consensual and she was very willing. This really is a he said, she said story, Ronan, at the end of the day, the allegations about Matt Lauer. How do you decide who is telling the truth here?
So I think one of the transformations of recent years is that we've come to understand that actually, I come at this from a legal background, you can corroborate claims of sexual violence. And Brooke Nevels' claim has been found credible even by NBC News, which took the step of firing Matt Lauer. And same by me and by the fact checkers working on this. She describes an evening that matches up with a timeline given by others there. There were eyewitnesses to what happened before and after that moment. She described this event consistently over the years. And look, it's telling that NBC News paid her a 7-figure settlement to ensure that she can't talk about what the network knew about this.
Well, I want to stop you about your fact-checking process because Matt Lauer's lawyer says many allegations that are being circulated were never raised during any fact-checking process, and despite repeated requests for an advance copy of the book, have not been provided to me. Did you have a conversation? Did you talk to Matt at any time?
Look, very often, without talking about Matt Lauer specifically, as you know, in our profession, people will fact check or have conversations and give you the responses in an off-the-record capacity or under some other ground rule that prevents me from answering a question directly like that. However, I will say that every single individual where there's a serious allegation against them described in this book had an ample, fair window to fact check. And with respect to Matt Lauer specifically, when you read the book, it's very clear this section is fair and even generous to him, and his thinking is reflected in detail. So there was nothing surprising in that letter except, obviously, as many survivors have commented on, the tone, which was very angry and had some menace in it, was surprising to some people.
One of the major discrepancies between what NBC is saying and what you're reporting is the question of agreements prior to Matt Lauer's firing, apparently involving women, apparently involving misbehavior. NBC says this morning that those were completely routine, not related to sexual harassment or assault. What makes you say otherwise?
Tony, they had a euphemism at this company called enhanced severance. And we talked to multiple people involved in each of those transactions, including senior executives on the NBC side who were involved in them, who said these were explicitly arrangements to shut up women with allegations of misconduct within this company. And that's something we saw at CBS. We've seen in other media companies. And it's a practice that correctly is being called into question by journalists.
They say in the statement enhanced severance was routine and was paid out to hundreds, if not thousands of people.
And what we document in this book is that these settlements were an elevated amount that was atypical. And look, we fully include in the book their claim that it is coincidental that these women had complaints about Matt Lauer and about others, including executives there. The people involved say something else.
The bulk of the book, though, is about your efforts to tell the Harvey Weinstein story and working. It's very ironic that the Black Cube people that were following you, allegedly at Harvey's request, ended up reaching out to you because they wanted to talk to you about how they felt about the job they were doing. But the bulk of the book is about your efforts to tell the Harvey Weinstein story, and in the end, NBC killed the story because they said you did not have enough facts that didn't reach their level of journalism. How do we know that this is not just, they're saying it's an axe to grind on your part?
So the book is, as I said, fair and even generous to them. At every turn, there was a very extensive fact-checking process to make sure every one of their rebuttals is in there.
Because the Harvey story didn't run on NBC. You ultimately took it to...
The New Yorker. And obviously the producer who worked on that story at a working level put out a piece in the last few days corroborating that, saying we were ordered to stop. And that is the point, Gayle. There are untruths being put out by NBC. There's lies in that statement that wouldn't fact-check. They admitted to us they never fact-checked any of these memos that you referred to, rebutting this. They are concealing the fact that they actively ordered us to stop. Yes, we had multiple named women in every draft of this story. We had audio of Harvey Weinstein admitting to a crime. But more pertinently, they ordered us to stop. This book answers why.
Well, they ordered you to stop, but it hasn't stopped yet. The conversation continues. It's ongoing.
It's an important one, including at this company, and I appreciate how transparent you guys have all been in confronting that after my reporting about CBS. There's been a lot of change, and I know journalists here are happy about that. And journalists
Well, we
at
never
NBC,
thought we'd be part of that story, so... But
absolutely, and you did great coverage of it.
About it.
And, you know, on the NBC side, there are fantastic journalists at that company.
Exactly
the book is a tribute to them. Many of them are sources in this story, and they are anguished over what's happening right now and some of the lies that are being put out by their own corporate leadership and some of the executive interference and coverage. It's a good conversation that's happening.
Ronan, thank you very much. His book, Catch and Kill: Lies, Spies, and a Conspiracy to Protect Predators, goes on sale tomorrow.